Joining us now for a chat on faith, fatherhood and family is the founder of Dads for Kids Fatherhood Foundation, Warwick Marsh. Thanks for being here, Warwick.
Well, it's great to be with you, Fiona, and all these wonderful ladies.
Thank you. Now, I just wanted to know, I know you've got this foundation. Why did you start the Dads for Kids Foundation?
I've got to check something. Actually, my wife and myself. So this is actually a mother's deal as much as a father's deal, number one.
I love the equality in that.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth of the matter is she makes me look good, but don't tell him. Look, it's, no pain, no gain. Your wound becomes your message. So I grew up in a broken home. Loved my mum, loved my dad, great mum. They couldn't get along. Backwards and forwards to Scotland and England and all over the place. 13 different schools, and it's not a good way to grow up, So that's that side of it. And I was inspired by an Aboriginal pastor, Ronnie Williams, who said Australia's greatest need is for fathers. Fathers who'll love their wives, who'll love their kids, fathers in the community, fathers in the business world, fathers in the church. So we've got a deficit of fathers, and that was Ronnie Williams' words, and I believe it's true.
My grandfather always said the greatest gift he could give his children is to love his mother. And I love that that's the message that you're giving, because we were just talking about boys earlier and how hard it can be. What, I guess, do you think a Christian man should look like, or a good man should look like?
Well, I mean, Jesus Christ was the ultimate man, the God-man, and the first Adam, the last Adam, combined, I guess, be like Jesus, which, of course, that's a hard one, because you talked about a man should love his, says in the scripture in Ephesians, a man should love his wife as Christ loved the church, which actually means, I'm going to die. No, so it actually, it's a pretty heavy duty sort of commitment.
It is a heavy commitment. So what are the messages, or what sort of activities or things do you do with your program?
Well, we train guys, and that's a big one, about that they've got to put their wife first, because you've got to keep love alive, and you've got to have an overflow of love to share the love. So a lot of guys actually don't get that. They go, what do you mean I've got to love my wife? That's so important about being a father. Well, it is. It's foundational, because that's how children came to be. That's that connection, quite literally, and you get children. And so that love is very critical. But look, it's about keeping the love alive by, date nights and that sort of thing. But then it's the date nights for the kids. It's the actual activities with the children as well.
So where do the men come from that are doing your courses?
Well, from all different walks of life, engineers, doctors, brickies, labourers, plumbers. So, they're quite a different, quite a broad range.
And what motivates them to come?
I think sometimes it's desperation. There's a saying by Thoreau, men lead lives of quiet desperation. And you were talking about it earlier in the program, where men don't share. And I'm a big advocate of men sharing. So the Good to Great courses are an opportunity for men to actually talk about things they've probably never talked about in their whole life. And it actually releases them. They realise that they're just the same as other men in the room. And so it brings a sort of a sense of healing and hope.
There's a concern, in the general population with some of our sporting figures who our boys look up to, and, they want to be of the same sort of, career path. How as parents can we perhaps raise boys to I'm not saying be like that person, but still admire their achievements.
And some values.
But instill those values.
Well, I think it was the Mahatma Gandhi said, you must become the change you seek. So I think children, in doing the stats and the studies, always say their mother and father they look up to their mother and father first. The problem is that when they look up to other models, sports models and TV stars and rock stars, is because they don't actually have that active, and especially for a father, it's very critical. So dad's got to be connected. Dad's got to be, there with the children and there with the mother as it happens. And out of that love and that overflow of love, you can change a family, you can change society.
So what does a connected father look like? Because we bandy it around, but if we were actually to put a camera into a family, what would a connected father look like?
It's a very good question, Sho. I think it's like it is literally been there,
Right.
Dr. Bruce Robinson from the Fatherhood Project in West Australia, he's a professor of medicine, so he's a pretty smart cook. He's come up with 3 things for dads. 3 things. So that is, number 1, you've got to get on the bus. B-U-S, okay? The first B is for being there.
Yep.
So you have to be there physically, but also be there in the moment, connected, you know, that sort of thing, emotionally. Listening, you know, listening is really critical. U is for unconditional love, right? A father has to show unconditional love, and fathers are conditional by nature in a sense, and that's part of that whole testosterone thing, achievement, competition, etc. But ultimately, you have to show unconditional love. And the last one, of course, is make your children feel special. So if you ask me that question, I'd say get on the bus, be there, unconditional love, and make your children feel special.
I feel like God does that with us as his children.
Yeah.
The
The ultimate father.
He's present,
Yeah.
you know, it's unconditional love, and he does make us feel special when you do develop that relationship with us.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have a father who is there, but when you don't have a father, what are the impacts on children who are raised without fathers?
Yeah, look, I experienced that a bit in my own life because I was missing my dad in my early part of my life, and so I actually dropped out of school. One of the statistics there, headed for university but dropped out of school. You know, came very close to the whole drug sort of deal, literally. But the bottom line is jail's another, you know, that's the sort of the worst case scenario. I've done a lot of work in jails, playing music and sharing the gospel, and basically jails are homes for fatherless men. You know, 70% the statistics say are fatherless. I talked to a warden in Western Sydney, and he said, "Well, Warwick tried my 100%." So you'll either believe the psychologists or the wardens, and it's one of those two.
So what can
sounds like
fathers do who aren't living with their children or don't see a lot of their children? What can they do to stay involved in their children's lives?
Well, don't give up.
Don't give up.
Unfortunately, we've got an imbalance in our court system where, you know, mum's always right and dad's always wrong, and obviously the reality is that both parents make mistakes. There's, you know, there's no gender has a monopoly on vice. So we've got to sort of encourage dads to keep trying, keep connected as best you can, send those cards, send those text messages, and stay in the picture because your child needs you.
That's so true.
Great message.
Where can you get some more information on your foundation?
Well, look, Dads for Kids is our website, dadsforkids.org.au, and we've got a weekly email that we encourage dads. It goes to all over Australia, single dads, grandfathers, the whole shooting match, and there's always a joke in there because you've got to keep dads laughing, haven't you?
Thank you so much, Warwick, for being here. All the best with your cause. Ladies, thank you for a chat. As always, it's always a pleasure. And you at home, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to share, like and subscribe if you're watching us online, because there's always more room for more mums at the table. Until next time, God bless.